So I came across this very cool company out there, Concours Specialties, and they built this special wiring panel which I'm going to try installing here. What's cool about it is it has the relays built in, has the ground wires built in, has my hot outputs and my relay outputs as well, all done there, as well as the fuse block. So apparently I just run the battery straight to it. So I'm going to try and jimmy rig it to fit up here in this area, and that way I can run all the wires to it, and I think I can make it look a lot cleaner by doing it that way. Now, as far as installing this thing goes, what you get is 3 screws at the top and 3 screws at the bottom, and there's no really other bracket, and there's no great place to put this. You could mount it flat against your firewall and drill through it, but I just didn't really want to do that, another firewall drill through. So instead I found a way to just kind of prop this up in here, and I actually have it all the way up against the box here, just to give me enough space, you can see. So I'm actually leaning it a little bit on there while I'm screwing in the 3 ones at the top. And I'm going to see how that holds up. If I need to, I'm going to create or just fab up a simple piece that I can latch on. You see there's the screw that goes into the box that keeps it up to the frame. So I would probably take that off and go ahead and fab up some kind of extra plate system. It would give me 3 more screws at the bottom there to plug it into. So for now I'm just going to see how this one works up, and then I'm going to start wiring up the individual pieces. So I started actually drawing out my wiring diagram, and I contacted the manufacturer here, these Concours Specialties folks. Great guys and all, but they've never done a razor before. This might be the first time it's been done. So I wanted to show a couple of things. First of all, what I've done to get this mounted so far, and what this board does. So it really just simplifies the wiring process for me and makes it really simple. I've got my relay triggers right here. I've got a whole block of grounds. I've got my hot outputs, my relay outputs, and of course I have my fuses. Now I can change all of these to be whatever I need them or want them to be. Those are just a couple of example ones. But you can see how they are, and it does come with a cover. According to the manufacturer too, it is something that will stand up to the abuse I'm about to put it through on the razor, so that's that. And what you can see is I've actually just taken the roof off, or this hood piece off, because I'm expecting my ride command to come in anyway. So I'd already had this open, and I thought, you know, this might be the perfect mounting location, and so far so good. It looks like it's just going to fit, where I have the hood piece over top, and of course on the back side I have my terminals. Okay, so really this is a 2-part install. I've got my Switch Pro installed now. It's mounted. I've connected the battery terminal here over to the key, so it's the accessory key there. I actually have this panel as well, the Concours Specialties panel, running off of the key as well. So that way I can just turn it on and off very simply, masterfully there. So on this side, we've got the Switch Pro. This corrugated wire just really runs to the actual switches. These yellow ones for the lights, blue ones for the ignition. I don't really need to do anything. There's a black wire back in here that's a ground. I've just routed it underneath along with this and brought it back up to the accessory block here. So what I've got left now are all of these red cables. And if you see here, oh, where you got it? Switch 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And so what that gives us is a 30 amp outlet on 8 and 18 on all the other ones. So if I come back around here to the Concours Specialties panel, you can see what I've done here. And the way this is laid out makes a lot of sense. I've got my positive and negative terminals obviously going there, so I've got power to it. It has its own fuse box, so I don't really need to do much with that now. We'll change the fuses as I know what I'm doing. Then I've got relays. Now the relay triggers are basically your switch controls itself. So these are the inputs that usually come directly from the switch, or in this case, what comes directly from my Switch Pro device. And then accordingly, with each one of these relay triggers is the actual relay outputs. So I connect the same relay trigger number to the relay output number, and then we're set. The rest of these are hot outputs. These are just always on, and then the grounds. which are always grounded. So there's really not a lot to do with those, although I have many devices like my stereo that is always hot. And again, this whole panel is wired up to the key switch, so there's no problem there. It's the moment I turned off the key, this whole panel turns off. If I want to wire anything directly, not a problem. I can just put it up on the accessory bar. So I'm going to wire up now a bunch of the switches to go right onto the relay mounts of the Concours Specialty box.